Hi everyone, Steven here with eTrailer. Let's take a look together today at our B&W Continuum weight distribution system with built-in weight control. Now this is going to be multiple options for you. We carry these in 2-inch shank options, and for the bigger hitches out there, the 2.5-inch hitches, we have those options as well. Now what's unique about the B&W Continuum is that you have a max gross trailer weight rating of 16,000 pounds, and you have a nice flexible tongue weight rating between 600 to a max of 1,600 pounds of tongue weight. So weight distribution in a nutshell fixes those uneven loads. So if you're squatting really big in the rear end when you're hooked up with your camper, your trailer, those kind of things, and you're fishtailing maybe because you just don't have the traction and the weight evenly distributed, that's exactly what weight distribution does. So the most important thing in determining which one is right for you is you need to know your tongue weight rating and your total gross weight rating. So if it's a camper, most of the times you have a placard of some sort, maybe some stuff that came in your paperwork from the OE that gives you those weights. Now you also need to add in any kind of gear behind the rear axle of the towed vehicle and any gear you put inside the camper as well. So keep all that in mind. If you need to, you can always go up to like a local truck rest area that has some scales or something like that, and you can always get those weights that way as well. Now determining which one you need, I went over that a little bit, but basically once you get all that determined and you pick out a kit that's right for you, most likely it could be this one, you're basically going to get this hooked up, and let's go over that real quick. So in my opinion, if you've never used weight distribution, this one honestly is probably one of the most easiest to use and operate once you get it installed. And that's because, one, it has bars that down here are going to be down here lower versus the ones that have spring bars on the side. And then you also use a hydraulic system to take off the tension and add the tension as needed. So again, easier to hook up and install and use, and less space taken away on your tongue of the trailer frame itself. So you also have a bracket here on your jack. So when you're setting that weight distribution, you're obviously going to use your jack as well to get everything level. And then once you get everything hooked up and you raise the jack foot back up, you're going to have all that pressure on your tongue. That's when you're going to need to engage the hydraulic jack system. So coming over here, it's really simple. You have a set screw here on the reservoir box. You make sure that's fully clockwise, and then you literally just start pumping. And as you can see in here, it's literally raising that tongue and getting it to where you need. So you want to make sure it's level, you want to make sure it's riding good, and then once you get all those settings finalized, you're going to take a reading here on the gauge and just make a mental note or write it down. Hey, I have to be at, whatever the PSI is, I don't know, 600. That way next time you know exactly where you need to be. If you need to fine tune it, you can slowly release some of the hydraulic fluid, or when it's time to camp or unhook, then you can spin it all the way counterclockwise and then let that hydraulic fluid go back, thus releasing all the pressure back off. And then obviously you'd have your jack down to support that weight whenever you disengage the system. So again, folks, a really simple, easy to use. The brackets here for whenever you get to the campsite, everything comes over and hangs here on the bracket. So I do love that feature. And once again, if you have propane tanks here, battery boxes, your jack, obviously, all that stuff still has space here, and you have space to put this bracket. You have a nice long hydraulic cord, that hose rather. You can move this back pretty much anywhere you need it on that A-frame, and it's going to fit nicely for you. So I do want to mention that. And then also you have some grease zerks here on the head. A lot of units out there from other manufacturers don't do that. That makes it nice as far as pivoting, and it's just regular maintenance and stuff to do so. And then of course you have your shank assembly here. That's what we're going to go back to the tabletop here and discuss now for the rest of our time together. So like I mentioned before when we started, you have the 2-inch shanks and you have the 2.5-inch shanks. And basically the difference is the drops on some of these and then the overall length. So like this guy here is 4 inches longer in length than this guy. So why do I need those, Steven? Well, pretty simple. Again, if you want to open the tailgate, maybe you need clearance because the way your jack sits on your setup, that'll allow you to open your tailgate if you have that shank longer out. Maybe you have a Jeep or a Bronco and you need that extra space for the spare tire. Maybe you have things that you need as far as like your truck's lifted, or some of the new trucks nowadays just naturally sit higher than what they did even 2 to 5 years ago. And you might need that extra drop to get those. So I want to throw up a graphic. These are the kits we offer for your standard coupler setup. And the top left, you got your standard 2-inch shank. And again, these are all kits. You're getting everything that I went over with today. I just got a quick cutout there to show you the difference in the shanks mainly. And then if you need the extra drop in the 2-inch, and on the bottom left, if you need the longer one in a 2-inch. And on the top right, if you need the 2.5-inch shank, and the right middle, if you need the extra drop in a 2.5-inch, and of course the bottom right, if you need that longer 2.5-inch shank, you have that option. So again, make sure you're on the right page for the right product number you're looking for. And as always, if you need assistance with picking out one, reach out to us. We can certainly help you. We love helping out our neighbors. And then one last thing before we go, these cannot be used if you have a surge type trailer brake. So just keep that in mind as well. Folks, I know there's a lot of information that we went over with together. I hope this information has been helpful for you. Again, reach out to us if you have any further questions about this or any other weight distribution systems, and have a great day.